So I'm the guy who got in shape with shit genetics purely to prove that it's not luck and literally anyone can do it. And now that's actually my job. I help skinny guys do that as well. Isn't that crazy? I used to be so skinny, you could literally see the bones in my arms and in my legs. There was nothing on my frame, you know, I was pretty much anorexic, you could say. And I got in shape. And it took me 3 years from me doing push-ups at home, me buying a pull-up bar for Christmas and trying to do some pull-ups in my doorway and not being able to complete a single one. And now 3 years later, I'm here, I can do muscle-ups on end. I'm training for a handstand push-up right now. I can lift heavy weight. I look good, I got the six-pack. I can run around here in Bali, shirtless. This transformation, you think, 3 years is slow, but it really isn't. Because yes, it's 3 years later that I'm making this video, but I got in shape within literally like a year. Within a year, I could see so much progress. I was a different person. Within a year, people started asking me for my training workouts, for my split. How did you do it? Can you give me some tips as well? So within a year, I was so completely different. Within a year, I went from being overlooked, neglected, being more or less an outcast. Nobody cared what I had to say. Nobody listened. When I entered into a room, it was like I wasn't even there. And within a year, people started coming up to me. People started inviting me to their tables to sit with them. People started caring about what I suddenly had to say. Even though my opinions were the exact same, I was the exact same person. The only thing that changed about me was I gained more discipline and I gained weight and muscle. Those are the only things that changed. I was the same person. But all of a sudden, it was like I mattered. And that to me was the biggest part of this whole journey. Because that's what I wanted. I wanted to be respected, but I never was. My entire life I wasn't. And I thought, I want to be like these people on the internet. And I looked at them and I tried to get their advice. But then I realized everyone on the internet didn't start like I did. No one was skinny. You know, no one was borderline anorexic. Like I wasn't anorexic, don't get me wrong, but wasn't far from it. I was literally skinny. And then I was skinny fat. So I was in the worst starting positions. I had the worst genetics you could possibly have. And I still made it out. But I looked for these guys that I was looking up to. I looked for their advice. And I noticed it wasn't applicable to me because they didn't start skinny. They started fat. So it was really hard for me to actually make that change because everyone just talks about, like on social media, everyone talks about how to lose weight. You know, how to shred the body fat. But I needed the complete opposite. I needed to understand how to gain weight. And then I was like, well, what has high calories? Because apparently calories is the thing that makes you gain weight, which is true. Then I was like, okay, so let me just find what's the highest calories and try to eat that all and just be in a calorie surplus, and that'll make me inevitably gain weight, right? Yes, it literally is that simple. But then again, it's not. So let me tell you exactly what I did. I literally started going to McDonald's because I live in Austria. Like right now I live in Bali because I can now travel the world. You know, I'm more free now because of what I do, because of my physique, because of the opportunities that I get. But in Austria, we don't have many fast food chains. We got McDonald's, we got Burger King, we got Subway. That's it. That's literally it. So the closest to me was McDonald's. So I only had to drive like 5 minutes with car to get myself some McDonald's. So I did that every now and then, as often as possible actually. Because I was like, yeah, I can just eat that and have a lot of calories. But my problem then was that I forgot that I have a super, super, super low appetite, which is the reason why I'm skinny in the first place. Now, if I had a bigger appetite, I could just eat more. Like everyone tells you, oh, just eat more. You know, just eat a pizza every now and then. Eat a burger, bro. Just pick up the fork. Yeah, I tried. I went to McDonald's, tried eating. And it didn't work. Yeah, the burger had a lot of calories. I was eating a Big Mac with like 800 calories, 900 calories, something like that. I don't remember exactly how much it is, but somewhere along the lines of that. But if you can barely finish that Big Mac, and then you got some fries with that, and you can't really even finish the fries, now you've got maybe 1,100 calories in your system. Okay, doesn't sound bad, right? I was a skinny guy, I didn't eat that much. But that's where the issue begins. Okay, I ate that meal, but then for the rest of the day, I was not hungry at all. Like, at all. I could eat that for lunch and for dinner have nothing because I wasn't hungry. So then I started forcing it into me. I forced anything like we had at home. Mostly was bread or some cereals because I was like, okay, cereal probably has a lot of calories. Yeah, I don't really care that it has a lot of sugar, because if that has any major side effects, I'll just deal with it later. Right now, what I need is to have my frame be bigger, because I'd rather have people acknowledge me tend to just not be the healthiest, you know? I'd rather be a bit unhealthy by eating so much sugar and so much junk food than be non-existent because I was that skinny. So that's what I did. Got home, sat on my laptop, figured out how to build more muscle in the gym, and evening came around, had to go back to eating. Absolutely not hungry. Poured myself some milk, some cereal into that. Would have had probably enough calories to get me in a surplus, because I had a breakfast before that. Then I had lunch at the Big Mac at McDonald's. And then the cereal should be enough, you know? For me right now, that wouldn't even be enough. But back then, that would have been enough because it was that skinny. And you don't need that much if you're that skinny to gain weight. But it turns out I could only eat like 2 bites from that cereal because it was that full. I tried forcing it into me. I could not. 1 more bite and I'm puking. I knew that. And so I had to leave it be. And that was horrible, because it was like, well, how the fuck am I supposed to gain weight then? I want it so bad. I want it so desperately. But I just about, with literally forcing it into me, even though I'm not hungry at all, I only just hit my maintenance, or barely scratched the surface of where surplus begins. And that with junk food. So it's like this, that there has to be another way. Let me look this up on YouTube, on Google, on Reddit. Literally, I was going through the forums. I was searching for a solution, but no one gave me that. No one gave me that. And you are the exact same way. I know it, because still to this day, no one teaches you. No one teaches you. They just say, eat more, eat some cereal, eat a Big Mac. That's the advice that I took, and it didn't work. It didn't work. That is the exact reason why I now have started this YouTube channel, why I've started this whole internet persona of me, because I am the only one on the internet who will actually show you foolproof fucking advice on how you, with your needs as a skinny guy, can actually gain weight. So let's get into it. So fucking 2 months go by with this miserable shit. Me getting close to puking on every meal I eat. Because I was like, this is miserable, but I want it that bad. Now, I tried helping other guys as well back in that time, because my brother is pretty similar to me. And I tried to give that advice to him, because I was like, I don't know any better right now. But this is what I'm doing. I used to live with him. But this is what I'm doing, and just do it with me, because you're also skinny. You have the same genetics with me than I do. And I see slowly, there's a bit changing on this scale. I'm slowly starting to gain a tiny bit of weight. Not anything to write home about. Maybe 0.5 kilo after fucking 3 weeks. But it was something. For me, 0.5 kilo, that was huge. Because my weight never went up before then. It only went down. So I told him, just do that with me. Just do that with me. Do that with me. He tried. he couldn't. Not everyone is built like that. Not everyone has the drive to where they want it so bad that they will literally go through that. And I tell you, it's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible feeling. It's so much better to be hungry than to be so full where you know that if you take one more bite, you're gonna puke. But you also know you have to take that bite. And you're not allowed to puke, because if you puke it out, it's not in your system anymore. And then you just lose weight again. It's the worst feeling in the world. And you know it probably. So then 3 months go by with me doing this miserable shit. My brother not even doing it with me anymore. He quit after like 2 days because it was too hard. Can't blame him. And I actually start to figure out something, that when I drink stuff, when I drink my food, which sounds disgusting, I get it, but just stay with me now. When I drink, I'm not that satiated. That was also the time where I started like drinking alcohol every now and then. No, it wasn't. Alcohol was before that. Yeah, alcohol was before that. And I started noticing that when you drink, you can drink over your thirst, right? That's how you get drunk. You don't drink because you're thirsty. Like when you're trying to get drunk, okay, maybe you're thirsty at first, then you get one drink and your thirst is cured. But you keep drinking, right? You can keep going. You can't do that with food. As soon as you're full, you're full. But with drinking, you can always keep going. And I was like, wait, maybe I'm onto something here. So I started experimenting a bit. And I bought myself this blender. And I started throwing all kinds of food that I thought has high calories and is probably high in protein, because I heard somewhere online that protein is important to build muscle. So I was throwing protein and high caloric things in there. So what I threw in this mixer. Now, mind you, I kept tweaking this recipe, but I started with just throwing a banana in there because I like bananas. Then I threw in some oats, because apparently oats are pretty high in calories if you get a good amount. Then I threw in some dates, because dates are really high in calories. Then I threw in a bit of olive oil, because I was like, oh, oil is pure calories. Let me do that as well. I threw in some milk. And I threw in some Greek yogurt. And then I just started blending that together, just figuring it out. Okay, sure. Yeah, I got the protein from the Greek yogurt. I got the calories from the oats, from the olive oil and all this shit. Let me try drinking it. Yeah, it didn't taste good. I'll be honest, it didn't taste good. But I started noticing, once I actually tracked the calories on that already had like 600 to 700 calories. So I was like, wow. And I'm not full after that. I could literally go and eat a meal after that, because I only drank something, even though that drinking had just as much calories as a regular meal would have for me. I was like, wow, this is the best thing ever. This is the best thing ever. Okay, so I experimented a bit more. And maybe a month later, I found my perfect recipe. I'll try reciting it off the top of my head right now. I'm not sure if I'll get everything correct. But essentially what I did was put in a banana, then a bit of oats. I'm not going to give you the exact measurements, just what goes in, right? So I put in banana, oats. I put some frozen berry mix. That's a game changer for the taste. So banana, oats, frozen berry mix, protein powder, milk, curd cheese. I switched from the Greek yogurt to curd cheese. Now it depends if you have that in your country or if you don't. If you don't, then just go with the Greek yogurt again. Then I did some protein powder. I'm not sure if I listed that before, but anyways, protein powder, olive oil, cinnamon, and I also did peanut butter. Peanut butter is also a game changer because it's very high in calorie, and it's also got protein. But there are two types of peanut butter. There's a clean one, which is literally just peanut mousse, essentially. That's what I used. And then there's peanut butter. Peanut mousse and peanut butter are so different from each other, because peanut butter is the mass-produced bullshit. that you use in your PB&Js, which is super unhealthy. But peanut mousse is literally just the fucking grinded up peanuts, and they have literally the same calories. I was like, there's no chance. Like, this peanut butter with all the sugar and all the bullshit and all the palm, like, seed oils inside, there's no chance this has less, like, the same calories than just purely peanut mousse. I checked the labels, and they are literally the exact same. Like, peanut mousse maybe had like 5 calories less for 100 grams. Like, that's crazy. So instantly I went for peanut mousse. And yeah, sometimes I didn't go peanut mousse. Sometimes I went maple syrup. Yes, exactly, maple syrup. Throw that in sometimes as well. And you can also do honey. All these things are great. So throw those together, mix them up, blend it up until it's drinkable. And then you just chug that down. And that shake alone, let me tell you, was a game changer for me, because that shake, every single time I made it, had somewhere between 1,500 to 2,000 calories. 2,000 calories? Let me say that again. 1,500 to 2,000 calories. If you're a skinny guy right now, you know what that means. That's almost your maintenance. So you just drink that and then eat one more meal, regular meal, and you're already in a surplus. You are already in a surplus, and you're not full from a shake. Why? Because you drank it. You didn't eat it, you drank it. Because it slips down, and you don't have to chew it, so your body doesn't give you that signal, your brain doesn't give you that signal of, oh yeah, I'm starting to get full. Because you just drink it. It's like you're drinking water. You can drink infinite water. Yeah, at some point, yeah, of course, you're gonna feel like, oh yeah, this was maybe a bit much water now. But technically, you could still keep going. So you do that. Then you eat one meal, and you're already in your surplus. So now, what happens if you eat your regular 3 meals with that? That, my friend, is how you are gaining a shit ton of weight in a super small time. But then again, that's what I did for 3 months. And in that 3-month time span, I gained 12 kilos. 12 kilos. Let me say that again. In 3 months, I gained 12 kilos. That was one winter. Not sure if it was 2 or 3 months, but definitely wasn't longer than 3 months. Maybe it was like 2.5. I gained 12 kilos. 12 kilos. Me as a skinny guy. I was a completely different human. But then again, the next problem came. The next issue started arising. I got skinny fat because I gained muscle way too quick. Not muscle, I gained weight way too quick. I learned that if you gain so much weight in such a quick time span, it's not going to all be muscle. At first I thought, oh, that doesn't really matter. If I gain fat, then I'll gain fat. Sure, let me just gain weight. But if you're a skinny guy, you know where that fat's going. Straight to your belly, and not to your arms, and not to your back, not to your chest, your shoulders, where you actually want it to be. It's going to your belly. So when I lifted up my shirt, I wasn't looking good now. I was just more or less the same size of my arms. Yeah, sure, they grew a bit because I was in the gym whilst I was doing that. But not the biggest change. So I look down and I see my belly growing, but my arms still relatively the same size. And I was like, well, this is also really not what I was going for. I thought this is the best thing ever, but turns out I must have done something wrong. And now in retrospect, like me as someone who's 3 years into this and actually knows this shit now, I'll tell you, I wouldn't do that again. Or sure I would if I literally can't gain weight, but maybe I wouldn't do the calorie shake of 1,500 calories or 2,000 calories. Maybe I'd just make it be 700 calories and then have my regular meals, so that you're not in a caloric surplus of like 1,000 calories plus a day, which you can literally easily be by doing that. But there's like fucking birds chirping here, having a fight right now. That's weird. Anyways, let me get back to the video. You don't want to be in a 1,000 calorie surplus, because what that's going to do is it's not going to all be muscle, and the only thing we want to gain is muscle, not belly fat, because then we're just skinny fat. And I thought, because everyone said, yeah, you need a bulk, get fat and then convert it to muscle. I was like, sure, let me try that. Turns out it took me a full year to convert that into muscle. Because there is no converting into muscle. You can either gain fat or you can lose fat. And you can either gain muscle or you can lose muscle. But you can't make the gained fat become gained muscle. You cannot. It's like bananas and apples. A banana will never be an apple. It will never. Because it's fundamentally a different thing. And fat and muscle is fundamentally a different thing. So everyone online telling you, oh yeah, bulk, and then convert that fat into muscle, does not understand how the human body works. I fell for that, and I was like, well, it's not working. Yes, sure, I'm gaining more muscle, but I'm gaining muscle underneath the fat. I'm not getting rid of the fat. So I literally had to go into a deficit again to lose that weight, to lose that fat, and then go into surplus again, but not a big one, a small one. And here is the key takeaway from this video. If you want to do it, if you want to gain weight, don't be in a fucking 1,000 calorie surplus like I was and gain 12 kilos in 3 months. I was probably in a higher surplus than 1,000 calories, to be honest. To be able to gain 12 kilos, I was going crazy with that shake. You know, I was drinking that pretty much every day. So what I want you to do is only be in a surplus of somewhere between 200 and 500 calories a day. Ideal would be 200 to 350 calories over your maintenance. Yeah? A small surplus. So that you are in a surplus, you're gaining weight, but you're mostly gaining muscle. Okay? Because you need to understand that you gain muscle the same exact speed if you're in maintenance calories or if you're in a surplus. People say if you're eating more, you get more energy and you can make that be muscle. That's not how it works, unfortunately. I thought that that's the case. That would be great, but it's not. Okay? You cannot. So for that reason, there's no reason to ever go on a dirty bulk like I did, with eating the whole junk food, then having low energy, because, well, obviously, how are you supposed to feel good if all you're eating is junk food and cereals? So I would never do that again. I would try to make it clean. Right now, I'm eating the animal-based diet, which is essentially just eating meat, dairy, fruits, sourdough bread, 100% dark chocolate, honey. That's it. The only vegetable I eat now is carrots, because carrots are super good for your testosterone. So yes, dude, if you do that, and then every now and then, I'm not saying every day, on the days where you know you're not going to hit your surplus calories, that's when you should do the mass shake. That's what I give to my clients right now, and they seem to have great results. They tell me every day, yo, I step on a scale and my weight's actually going up. Like, thank you so much. This is crazy. And they're not getting fat. They're still being lean whilst doing that. They're still looking good, because there's no point in being fat. If you would just grow as a whole, then I'd say sure, because you want that bigger frame. But the only thing that's growing if you're a skinny guy is your belly. So take it slow. You can't rush this process. I'd love for it to be a fucking get big quick scheme, but there is none. You know, I could lie to you and probably make more money if I said so, like all these other influencers do. But I don't want to sell my soul, because what does a man gain if he gains the whole world but loses his soul in the process? It's written in the Bible. And I very much agree with that. So I'd rather be honest with you and make probably less money, but the guy who actually values that, of course he's gonna thank me. So if you do, you can show that with pressing the subscribe button right now. Thank you so much. I really need that, because I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the beginning of summer. This is a crazy challenge that I'm setting to myself. I think we're almost halfway there, so help me make that happen. Thank you so much. But yeah, so what I want you to do is eat clean. Don't ever be in a dirty bulk, because you'll have low energy. Be in a 200 to 350 calorie surplus. If you really want to take it a bit faster, 200 to 500 calories is fine, but don't go over that, ever. And just run that and stick to it, because it will take you some time to be at the point where girls come up to you, and not it's the other way around, where when you come up to them, they fucking run away because they're like, what the fuck is this guy wanting from me? So yeah, you can get to that point where I am now. You know, I literally get invited to modeling shoots here in Bali. I get invited to stay at villas for free because of how I look. That to me back then was unimaginable. And now, in these 26 minutes and 40 seconds, I've literally taught you everything you need. That was a full guide. Now, if you want to know how to properly do your workout, what to actually eat, when to actually eat, how to structure that around your life, all these things, if you have no clue how to go about it, because that was a lot of information. With which information, by the way, everything I told you right now, you can use that and just get jacked on your own. But if you want some help, if you want someone to guide you on this path, take you by your hand and just literally make it impossible to fail, then you can come to me. That's what I do. That's what I'm here for. Because I desperately needed someone like me right now, and there wasn't anyone. So that's why I said, okay, let me try to become the first actual real, no bullshit fitness coach that doesn't sugarcoat things, that doesn't lie to his clients, that doesn't scam them, that actually fucking helps them and changes their life. And my clients get the best results for exactly that reason. So if you're interested in that, you can click the first link down in the description right now and book a free one-to-one call with me to see if you'd be a good fit for my program, The Limitless Blueprint. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you could just press that subscribe button right now. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.